to do the opening. Damn. I guess that's my aging mind. Oh, good Lord. So, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm going to take a sip of my iced coffee because I really need to. My mouth is kind of, I don't know, it needs some water. Right, so let's say hello to see who's here first to start with. We got Camp Goer 1. Thank you, Linda, for coming. Kaylee. Kaylee and I had about a 2-hour conversation this morning. I adore you, Kaylee. I hope you know that. I do. Okay, there we are. There's me saying hi to them. Just waiting for some people to follow over. I'm still sitting around eating. Can't wait to travel. I I can't either. Richard is doing some work intermittently on the RV. Um, there's Troy. He found his way over. Thank you, Troy. Now to get down to meat and potatoes of the subject. Yes, sir. Ree. Yes, sir. Yes, we will be. Just want to make sure I say hello to some people. Hello, Priscilla. Priscilla, did you see the video? Just say yes or no. See if you saw the video. You and I grew up in this house. We played in the street here. We rode our bikes up and down. I rode that as steep as our driveway is. I rode my bike down that driveway without hands and made the turn. It's hard in some ways to live here as an aging person, having lived here as a child. Lily Tittle, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. RV Ashes in April. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. It's been a long time. Mm-hmm. Lindy Oakey, thank you so much. Priscilla, Lynn lives down near where our grandfather, Grandpa Charlie, was born. I was really worried about you for a minute there. Honey, I questioned very quickly whether I should do that video. Okay. So, because I knew it's why I did it as a premiere, so that people didn't have to sit on it emotionally and think that, is Lucretia lost, is she going crazy or something? But the fact of the matter is like I said, it's Life of Lucretia. And this channel, this channel is about me and all that encompasses to the largest degree. Y'all know I'm a recovering alcoholic. Y'all know I'm disabled, that we've traveled a little bit, that we want to travel a whole lot more, that we've got a garden we're trying to get put in, spend money on it yesterday, that my disability is messing up my life tremendously. And so, Priscilla, the video is, I was pretty emotional. It was right after I almost fell. And what that video did, so before I get started here, just tell a little bit, I know, because I want to see if Charlie Grace is going to be my first guest today, because she has to leave early. And so I wanted to make sure we had opportunity to hear from Charlie Grace. So I'll just tell, I see Charlie Grace. Let's see if don't see her yet. When I see Charlie Grace, I will shut up and I will bring her up. So, Priscilla, my little sister and I grew up here. Our older sisters were gone and moved long before this house was built by our parents. So we grew up in this house. And we have a lot of emotional attachment to it. But separate from that is growing up here, now living here as an aging adult that has disabilities. I live on a very steep driveway. It's not super long, but it's very steep. And and the fact of the matter is, I have to adjust my living, the way I live, to match my condition. My condition is I don't feel my legs very well, and my feet are starting to pick up less and less consistently. Go figure. That's supposed to be like autonomic nervous system stuff, but I have damage to those nerve roots coming out of my back and down my legs. And so I do have to be extra careful. And here's the deal, because Priscilla asked me about this. When you get a chance, go watch the video, is all I can say. It's 5 minutes long and it's worth watching. You'll understand why I went ahead and did this. So I thought, do I do this video this upset, or do I wait and I put on my happy face and do it? But it was raw, it was real, and it was right then. And so that's what the video is about. And that's what made me think about this, because I know many of you are in similar situations. Kepler one. Kaylee is so sweet. Priscilla, don't forget riding skateboards down the driveway. See, now I don't remember that as much, Priscilla, because that's why you should be on here as well today. But I know you're not really feeling up to it. If you, in fact, end up feeling up to chatting later on, after you kind of just watch the stream, just let me know, and I'll make sure there's a link for you to grab. And yes, we did. So we lived our life here as children. Yeah, as tweeners and teeners. Snuck my parents' car out of the garage here on many a Friday or Saturday night with my BFF Lori after they went to bed, so that we could go do other things. Thank you for everybody saying hi to one another. That's always a good thing. All right. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to share some information with you. For me, my life is messing up my disability. My disability wants to do the me first thing. My disability okay, well, we'll talk about that, because Troy's one of my guests. So Charlie Grace, you're here. All right. I'm going to drop a link for Charlie Grace. In the meantime, while we're waiting for Charlie Grace to come up, I'm going to share some information that I gleaned. And Kaylee, if you will keep an eye out for things for me, I would appreciate it, because I won't really be paying too close attention to the chat for a while. So that's for Charlie Grace. In the meantime, I'm going to share some information as well. This is some information I got from PBR about aging. Demographic shifts. There's a demographic shift. The number of Americans age 65 and older is projected to double by 52 million in 2018 in 2018 to 95 million by 2060. More racially and ethnically diverse group of people. Obviously, that's going to happen. And it also says here, despite increased diversity in the older adult population, the more rapidly changing racial ethnic composition of the population under age 18 relative to those age 65 and older has created a diversity gap between generations. And the fact that older adults are now working longer, and sometimes that's by choice, and sometimes that's by I need to eat, and I need to make sure that there is food on the table for not just me. Maybe you're raising your grandkids, or your whatever. Maybe life has just set a situation in front of you that you need to be working. Some positive developments. Education levels are increasing. And that's a good thing. Average life expectancy increased from 68 in 1950 to 78.6 years in 2017. So I suspect those are in part due, obviously, to things like my father had a $500,000 procedure done on him at about age 90. I believe it would be 90, where they did a heart valve replacement. He lived 4 more years. The poverty rate for Americans aged 65 and older has dropped sharply during the past 50 years, from nearly 30% in 1966 to 9% today. Now, let's see if there's a date on this. This seemed like it was very new, but because I think right now this was probably done prior to COVID. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to bring up my friend Charlie Grace, if you're ready, my dear friend. All right, and then we're going to chat. Let me get rid of this other thing first. All right, here we go. Hi, Charlie Grace. Oh, I can't. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear. Can you guys hear Charlie Grace? And we'll find out if it is a problem with me or with.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Double check. Always got to check those audio settings. It happens all the time.
I know. So thank you for coming. I'm so pleased that you're here.
Yay! Most people don't see with the ponytail because I've been working all day today, guys. This is like I'm in business mode when I'm in ponytail mode. So.
Yes. I got rid of my hair again. So I was too sweaty.
It was
too sweaty.
It was time. It's fine. It's your hair.
I like short hair. It works for me. So the reason that I invited you, let me look into the camera rather than away, because I see you over here to the right, but the camera's right there. I don't know which looks right or not. I'll just look at you. So I invited you because you, to me, epitomize someone who's not, I'm 61. I think a lot of the people in here are well over 50. Kaylee, so we've got a lot of people who may be in their late 40s, early 50s. You, I'm not sure exactly, because you were like, and it doesn't matter. We never tell unless you're a crazy person like me. But you epitomize to me, you're a strong woman. You travel by yourself. You have a strong, independent personality. You're kind. You're caring. And you're not a Springus chicken. So tell me if you could, and tell our chat what you think about your experience as a woman who's getting older. I'm getting
older. I will definitely say I'm in the over 50 crowd. I'm totally fine with that. I'm actually proud of my age. I gotta say this. I'm proud that there's just the thing that bothers me, and I hate to say bothers me. There's challenges every day, but what bothers me is your experience. I was watching your video is sometimes my body lets me down on things I really would like to do. And my greatest experience, and I can tell you right now, because I just premiered this video because I was in Canada doing some things, and they said, let's go take this hike. And I'm like, I may never be back up here. I better do this. To me, it's like a once in a lifetime. You better go do this, right? Well, I was told it would be 45 minutes, and it was an hour and a half, and it was treacherous rock climbing. It was a lot of coordination. It was a lot of everything. And it was not what I thought it was going to be. And I twisted my ankle. I hurt my knee, And you get back and you're like, okay, now what am I going to do? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so that the whole thing about the body just sometimes not functioning the way we want it to, it's the retraining. I'd say it feels to me like I'm having to retrain it to match this, to match something, first of all, I don't like, I didn't ask for, and now what do I do?
Yeah, it's really tough. It's one of those things where I sit back and go, as you say, don't wait, because your body will only be able to do what it can do for certain things. But really, at the end of the day, you have to come to an agreement with yourself and say, here's my best self today. Yes. Here's what I can do. This is what I want to accomplish. Making things that are more attainable and realistic. I'm sorry, my dog is barking. My apologies. Okay. And based upon all those things, it makes it a little more, like we talk about skateboarding. I'm not going to go skateboarding anytime soon. Now, I don't mind if other people do it, and that's fantastic. I don't mind watching them, but I have to think about these things now and go, the recovery time on that would be 6 months. If I hurt myself or, sprain, it's going to be a long time. So it's not worth those things. But I also think that someone was explaining to me, they said, remember Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers used to talk to the camera. I really, truly feel that when I'm doing these, YouTubes or whatever, someone said I'm like Mrs. Rogers, because I may be by myself, but he always said, come on, friend. I'm like, come on, friend, let's do this together. So yes. I feel like I'm bringing a community and a friendship of people with me. So I'm not by myself. I'm really not. I'm thinking about other people and thinking about people that would love to go do these things that may not have the accessibility or ability to do these things. And that's sort of what keeps me going.
Yeah. One of the so I watch a lot of backpacking. I watch a lot of different videos where people do outdoor things. Now, some of it's crazy, and I would never have done even in my wildest of days. But those are people that I will probably never go in the deep backcountry of Yellowstone. But
Right.
I will get to go to Yellowstone and experience Yellowstone, and I will get to go see the bison and
Right.
probably cry my eyes out.
Right.
But I won't be hiking any major trails.
Right. Right. And that's
so
okay. And that's fine.
Seeing
Totally
somebody
fine.
else do that is great. It's good for me. It's what I really appreciate about YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of really cool things. I have a guest coming. Give me 2 seconds here.
Okay.
I'm gonna. So it's always fun when you're doing a live stream and I have a guest. Speaking of women who are rocking. Oh my goodness. And Rosie Bell is here. This is my friend Lisa. Say hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Lisa is an amazing woman as well. We're talking about women who are maturing and the amazing things that we can do in our lifetime. And speaking of women who are maturing, we're going to go see Amy Grant.
Oh, Amy Grant. Yay. Good for you, ladies.
And a girlfriend of mine works with her at Thistle Farms. She actually has a farm that she helps women who are going through, I want to say like sex trafficking and other things. And she helps with that whole rehab. And so my girlfriend, Melody Guy, another amazing woman, does singer-songwriting things with her. So this is part of that whole program. And tonight she's going to put on a performance.
Bye, guys.
Well, that's an amazing opportunity. Well, I'm glad you're getting to go to that. And so I won't hold you up at all.
No worries.
So let's ask, do either of you have any tips on women who might be life is changing age-wise and maybe or maybe not there's any limitations, or I don't think you have any limitations. Sure.
Oh no, this is good. I think the biggest thing I will say is stop comparing yourself.
Oh my God. Yeah,
That's the biggest statement I'm going to make. When you get to the I don't give a F mode in your life, now I'm not going to say I'm there,
I'm guilty.
But this is true. Stop comparing yourself. Be the best person you can be. When you can love yourself and be the best person, everything around you will change.
Yes.
Totally change.
So that's like some
I'm guilty.
major advice.
Yeah.
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 Just don't stop moving.
And don't stop moving. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just keep
I'm actually going to take my use my walker, which I disdain, but it's a necessity, and going to do a walk this week with my husband on a bike path, particular bike path by the river, and we might even go fishing.
Oh wow, good.
Fun.
Even go fishing. Who knows?
Go for it.
Yes. And anyways, well, I'm going to let you down so that you can go do the things you need to do. But that was a great piece of advice. And I think I probably need to listen to that. And because I do, I do. I compare myself and I compare myself to my youth. That's where my barrier, it's not comparing myself to you or somebody else.
Can't do it. If you've still got that pair of jeans in your closet from high school and you're still trying to squeeze into those things, or if there is something that you say, I'll be perfect when I'm a size X, you just got to get that out of your head, because that is not the reality in the world. You are perfect the way you are. So we love you. Lucretia, you're doing a great job. I want to thank everybody in the chat, and then we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was some great advice. And really, truthfully, I do not compare myself to you. I compare myself to me and how I was before. And that's where my problem lies. All right. Just to share a little bit more of that information before I'll bring somebody else up here and get moving on that. Here's something else I found today. Instead of going back to that, this is from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. AI, okay, AI, which I'm concerned about, but that's a different video. So AI algorithm finds drugs that could combat aging. 3 drugs that could help stave off effects of aging have been discovered using artificial intelligence. And there are some harmful side effects, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows there is some. However, natural products, lab tests in human cells revealed that 3 of the chemicals called I'm going to kill this word, but I believe it's Gink-Gettin. 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 Perlipicin and oleandrin, which I've heard of oleander. I'm able to, I think they're hearing me okay. I'm so not used to using the mic still. So all 3 natural products found in traditional herbal medicine, the team says. Yes, but they were listening. They could hear me. Oleandrin was found to be more effective than the best performing known senolytic drug of its kind. So I'm going to put this down in the down below. Whoops. I shouldn't be in charge of anything that has to do with technical stuff. Oh, good Lord. Okay. There we go. And because it does have some interesting information, it's not just a pile of crap, all right? I recommend reading it, but I just wanted to introduce you to it. All right, so let's get the ball rolling and let's bring up, let's go with, I'm going to start, where'd he go? Where's Troy? Troy. Well, first of all, let's drop the link. That's going to make most sense. All right, so Troy, Camp Goer 1, I'm gonna, and Patty Woods. So the 3 of you, if you want to grab the link and pop on in, we'll put the whole panel up here, and I'll just put some questions out there, and we'll just have a kind of free-flowing conversation. So let's see if there was anybody else I needed to, because, you know, my brain. See if anybody else is in here that I wasn't aware of. Travel Grandma Elaine. All right, so we've got Travel Grandma in here. So Travel Grandma Elaine, Troy, Camp Goer 1. If anybody of you wants to grab that link and start heading into the basement, I will be so happy to start bringing you up. And hello, Box Van D. Glad you did make it. What I'm disappointed in is the feeling of brokenness, physical brokenness. That's what I'm disappointed in. All right. So Troy, you ready to come up, my friend? Can you hear me, Troy? All right. So there we go with Troy. Be right with you, Linda. So how you doing, Troy? And thank you for coming.
I'm doing good today. Sorry about that. I had background apps running and I had to close them all out when you asked for me.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. My son is trying to fix something here as we speak. So, you know, we're talking about a subject that most of us don't care to talk about. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the rest of the team here. We've got a couple people coming up, and then we'll just kind of have an open conversation because I think we all can handle that. Let's go with Linda. How you doing, Linda?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm lazy today. I'm tired today.
Oh, and Shirley. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm gonna go down the line. My friend, I've got another friend here, Patty Woods. Now, Patty is a friend of mine who lives in town. I've known her a long time, know her pretty darn well. She knows me pretty well, too. So,
Hi.
and by the way, she was a natural born comedian. She really missed her calling. Patty should have been on the stage making people laugh their asses off. She is funny as crud.
Yes, unfortunately, I can be very, very funny at the most inappropriate times.
Yes, I have seen it. All right, so Lily Tittle, let's bring you on up. So how you doing, Lily?
Hanging in there.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. You know, talking about aging is not something many people like to, or I mean, it's not like we're old, okay, but we're all
Right.
aging. Every one of us is aging. So just a fact. All right. So Shirley from Following the Yellow Brick Road, when you're ready, go ahead and say, hey. Okay. So Shirley, there you are. Thank you. I'm so glad you came.
Thank you.
Shirley is another person that strong, independent, travels on her own, very capable of dumping a tank. She can do whatever it takes to make sure she gets to travel. That impresses me. See,
Wow.
apparently, you know, I'm impressed with that kind of thing. Seriously.
Well, thank you, but I don't know how much you really need to be impressed. I think it just all boils down to having the equipment that you need, kind of having a knowledge of what you're doing, and not being afraid to go out and try it.
Right. Well, and that is key. And we've got another person who actually came into your hair is shorter, sweetie. Oh, you look so young. Oh, wow, you look beautiful. And not that you weren't before. I'm just saying you changed. So Elaine is another person who travels by her, you know, on her own, but with other people, meets other women and whatnot. And that also, like across the country for months at a time. And her, what kind of vehicle do you have, Elaine? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Elaine?
I don't think she can hear you.
Your sound isn't on. I can't hear you.
Yeah,
Turn your sound on. I still can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. Then I'm not sure on your end what you need to do, but turn off your YouTube and turn off. Oh, it got you now. So I can hear everybody.
Okay.
So Elaine, where did she go? Oh, there you are. Did I lose somebody? No. Everybody's up here. So my Elaine is somebody who also travels alone. She is an independent woman who travels by herself. She does have a husband who can travel with her if
Hold on a second.
Okay. If he wants to, you know, and they've traveled all over the world. So, all right. So let's pose this question. And Lynn wants to come up too, Lynn the Okie. So we're going to go ahead and bring Lynn into the stream. Hi, Lynn.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Good to see you. Glad you're here. So, so the conversation about aging, and I don't even know if aging is the right word. Maybe there's a subtler word, a more kind word about this transition in life. You know, most of you saw my video. I had a bad experience, which is not uncommon these days. Is there anybody? What do you think about aging? What's your own experience with it? And just anybody who wants to start off with it, share what your feelings are and thoughts.
I feel like a 25-year-old who keeps waking up and looking in the mirror and saying, who the hell is that? It really is. It's just, I see young people and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're looking at me like, who's the old fart trying to talk to us? I'm like, oh God, that's right. I'm not 25. You know, I don't look like I feel. So, you know, the younger is like, why is she talking? Like, it must be crazy. Everybody walk away. And I'm like, oh God. So, yeah, getting older is not, what do they say? Getting older is not for the weak. Yeah.
No. I need to remove something from my stream so that you guys are more visible. All right, there we go. That works much better for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
getting older and having disabilities ain't for the weak.
What do they say? Getting older is not for the weak.
yep, I'm hearing somebody's like radio or something in the background. So you're right. It's not for the weak, and it's not for people who aren't willing to face it either. there's a lot of things as a result that can happen if we're not willing to face that.
Yeah.
For instance, I recently I've got a new accoutrement as far as my jewelry goes. Let me grab it out of my bra. Okay, here it is. It's not the it's not the prettiest device, but it's a fall detector.
Very cool.
If I fall, it will detect that and it will call me, and the person will say, "Hey, Lucretia, are you on the floor, sweetheart?" And I'll say, "No, I simply just dropped it," or something, you know. And then if I don't respond, they will call 911 and they'll call my emergency contacts. So this is a device, and this is, you know, not all, definitely not all older people use this, don't have to. I have an ability issue that requires that I do. So does anybody else use anything as far as mobility?
Not yet.
I use a cane sometimes. If I have to go for a longer walk, I use the cane to keep me steady so I don't fall over. Because even though I had the back surgeries, my left leg is still numb a lot of the time. And so it's very easy. When you talked about tripping on the mat, that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, yep, you think you picked your foot up further than you did. And I know that you've had some serious back problems too. So, yeah.
There's one more person coming into the chat, and this link is for Van Vita Travels only, for Paula.
Okay.
I invited Paula. So go ahead and grab that when you feel like, Paula. So those kind of things, like Shirley said, not yet, not yet.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
it is, not everybody will inevitably have to use a device. Troy, are you still there, dear? He might be doing something else right now. Oh, you're there? Okay. So do you use any kind of, you probably don't use any assistive device, do you?
I use canes quite often, and on really bad days, I do have a walker.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I just got home from the O23 meetup, and I used a cane around my own home for 2 days. Because I have a situation where it takes a toll on me, and then it gets worse even after I slow down. There's a curve where it gets worse and then it gets better. So for 2 days after I got home from the meetup, I literally walked around the house with a cane the entire time.
Wow.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry to hear that, but I completely empathize. I get that. It's hard. So once we go and we do so, like when I have a really busy day, now if we go to Walmart or something, I have to use the riding monster. I can use that because I can't get from one side to the other at this point because of the numbness in my legs. So Paula says Troy overdid it. I can imagine. A do-over. Kaylee says do-over. I'm for a deep do-over as well. So Elaine, how are you? Are you out of there again? Where'd you go? Add to the stream one more time. Okay, there you are again. So do you want to share how you are, you're perfectly healthy. You seem very perfectly fit. And how are things for you when you're out traveling? You have to probably dump waste yourself. And I know you're not in an RV, but you have other, things as well. So how does things work for you?
Is that a question for me or somebody else?
Oh, I was asking Elaine, but I don't think she can hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, things are going really good. I empathize with you, Lucretia. My mother, I watched all of that with her, and I just vowed after going through that with her, and of course, she was 80, 90 years old. So, I'm 71, and, it's not that far off. So I think about that. And I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be in a walker. I have to push myself lots of times, and I have to tell myself, well, I need to do this. Right now, I'm actually in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I'm camping with some friends, and they're at a campsite about 30 minutes away from where I want to be every day this next coming 2 weeks that I'm here, because I need to be getting in the pool.
Mhm.
You know, yes, I have Planet Fitness and I can take a shower there. And once in a while, you know, I love the massage chairs. And once in a while, I'll use the gym equipment, but it's not enough. You know, I got a bike last year, which was great. But guess what? Last week it crapped out on me. So now I don't have a bike. I was able to take it back to get my refund at Costco, but it just stopped working. And it was just like, oh my God, now what am I going to do for exercise? I'm going to go to the gym. So I found a facility here in Flagstaff called Aquaplex, and I'm doing that for the next couple weeks until I can figure out how I can get another bike.
Mhm.
So I have to keep going. I have to keep moving. That's the reason, honestly, I'm not home. Because if I was home right now, I would be sitting on the couch with my husband beside me, because that's what he does. Except for the day that he plays golf. I don't play golf. I have all that stuff at home. You know, I live in a senior community, so we have pools and things like that. But guess what? I don't go. I have to be out. I have to be seeing young people. I have to be seeing activity around me. That's the only way that I'm going to survive. And I know it. So
And I put you on solo layout for a minute because you said 71. Did you say
Yeah.
71? Honey, you look beautiful and you
Yeah.
do not look
thank you.
71. I just had to do this because my friend. So my friend and I, we were talking about this earlier on text messaging. He is a couple years younger than me, but my oldest friend that I absolutely love and adore, and he is extremely handsome young man. I'll call him a young man because he looks like he's 40 instead of 60 ish, and 59, 60. He does not look like it, but he bikes,
Yeah.
he walks, he has. We were talking. He goes. He believes in his case. He has really good genetics in that respect, and so he's concerned about having a conversation on the internet with me because he doesn't want to look like he's boasting himself or that I'm boasting him. That's not the point. It's like, how do people stay in this condition? We can have a nature versus nurture conversation too, because sometimes there ain't just nobody nobody. Some people are never going to age, and that's all right.
But you know what? I notice for me that when I gain weight, I look terrible. Oh my God. And that slows me down too. So, when I do so much better with my eating and my activities when I'm not at home. I just do. And, it took me a couple of years to figure that out, but I figured that out. And guess what? I don't think I'm going home. I may pop in every once in a while, but you know what? I think I'm going to be full time. And if my husband doesn't like that, well, he can come or, tough.
Wow.
We've been married for 50 years and I am dead serious about this. If I go home, I will die.
Well, honey,
I agree with that.
Okay, Shirley. So Shirley, let's hear from Shirley here. I'm going to put you up on solo layout because I'm going to have to read.
I want to say that for 71, she looks good.
Yes, she does.
Yes, Lynn, very much.
I'll be 69 this September, so I don't look it because my dad and my mom gave me good hair genes.
Yes.
But I have arthritis in both of my knees, and I've had surgery on both of them. Never replacements, but I've had arthroscopic surgery. And I used to have a lot of pain with them. And I kind of got to the point where I started babying my knees. And, something, if I was afraid that I was going to fall because I didn't think my knees were going to catch me or hold me, I wouldn't do certain activities. But I have started walking more. And recently I was in New York, near Buffalo, with some friends, and went to Niagara Falls with John and Kevin. And I really worked myself that day. There are lots of stairs there in that state park and at the Cave of the Winds. And then we walked across the Rainbow Bridge over into Canada and did more walking while we were there. I walked a total of 9 miles that day. And amazingly, the next day I could still walk.
Oh God.
So, and my knees are feeling better. And so what I've learned from that is I have to get out and stay mobile and learn to push myself past my point of feeling like I can't do something, and climbing more stairs than I ever had before.
Uh-huh.
I think that really has made a difference in my mobility. So you have to push yourself to stay active and do the best that you can, be the best that you can be that day.
That's true. I have had both knees replaced, and after each knee replacement went excellent. After each replacement, though, I had an injury to the quad, which is that outer muscle.
Yes.
One was my fault, and one was the fault of the dog who didn't mean to. But you know, when you have a 110-pound German Shepherd bounce up against you unexpectedly, it's just the things are going to happen. And you know, pit bull, and the pack at my house at the time was a pretty big dog pack, you know. So I was stupid. I put myself. So it is they neither one recovered fully. I'm considering going back to physical therapy. So we also now have Bernie Pina. Bernie, are you there, dear?
Hello, greetings, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Hi.
So
Go ahead.
what do you have to add? I know you do.
All I can say is that it's been a struggle every day, constant pain, and I can't even lift 5 pounds without hurting my back or my legs. But you know what? I'm supposed to be with a walker, and the surgery that I had done, I was in denial for 5 years. And when I got the second opinion, they told me, you know, if you don't get the surgery, you may never walk again. So this is why I'm having troubles. And it was a back surgery that I had because of an accident I had. And, but being in denial 5 years, you know, my fault. So finally I got the second opinion and I got the surgery, and it's just been really bad for me. I'm taking it very slow. I could only take it slow because I refuse to use the walker that they want me to use. And I don't want to use a walker. Not yet anyway. One day I probably will. But right now I'm just rocking it little by little. And this is why it took so long in cooking the tongue at camping, ceviche at camping, not being able to mingle because the pavement at an Oregon's campground was uneven. There was a lot of hose. I felt like I kept twisting my ankle. So I had to take it slow. Yeah. But I'm testing myself. I'm testing myself to see if I want to go full time or stay part time, and just to see what my limits are. And you know, 1 gallon bottles of water that I have to put in the van, or equipment. My battery bank is heavy. You know, I don't know. You know, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. But I keep pushing. That's all I can do is keep pushing and keep pushing.
Well, so
I just want to add something that, you know what? Slow is fine. Go slow, but go.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Lynn.
I was wanting to know, has she ever thought about doing like one of those straight upright walkers?
The straight
Has she ever
what?
thought about that?
The what?
Have you ever thought of an upright walker?
An upright walker is a little different. It is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yes, I've seen all of the different options, and but I for me personally, I just don't want to go there
Yeah.
I'd rather, you know, you got to choose your heart. Is it hard for you to sit down and crochet and not move your body and not, you know, do things that you really want to do? Or is it hard to get up and take a few steps, take it slow? You know, you got to choose your heart in life because life is hard.
Yeah.
And the older we get, our bodies are feeling it. But my attitude is like I'm 30 again, you know? I refuse to go down with the ship. I really do.
Mhm.
I hear
So,
you.
I
I
hear you
remember.
too. Yep.
you know, I want to dance. I want to rock and roll still. And, you know, maybe I can't river raft anymore, but I can get on a boat or something, you know? So life
True.
is hard. Choose your heart. That's all I can say.
Yes, that's true.
You know, that's all I want to add. I mean, you can have questions if you have any questions for me, but that's basically how my attitude is.
Well, is
Well,
anybody?
Renee,
Go ahead, Troy.
I can say I rode with you in a vehicle about 2 hours. You're still an awesome driver, Renee.
Hi, Troy. I love Troy. He's so wonderful. We had a great time. We wish you were there, Lucretia, Priscilla as well.
Yep.
But I love Troy, and you know what? We're gonna be old and gray one day. Just talking about these years. Remember when we could do this?
We'll be sitting on a front porch in our rocking chair, shooting rubber bands at each other, laughing.
Oh yes.
It's
I'm
fun.
in my late 40s, and I'm a, and I was, I don't, I see some of these things, and
Let me
what's
thank,
wrong with
thank you,
that dog?
Shirley.
That dog don't mess with me. My son's got 6 dogs around here. That's not counting my niece's dogs.
Uh-huh.
So, and anytime another one comes up, and he sees it down the road, he always adopts another one.
Well,
I was like,
I remember being in my late 40s. And if I were in my late 40s again, there's a couple things that I would do a little bit differently. And so I'm trying to look, I had hoped to have, there was someone I'd hoped to have that was in her 30s, but I wasn't able to make the connection with her to do this because it just came about so quickly for me. Because I think if I had started thinking more clearly about what things I might, how life, making a better plan for myself, but I didn't plan for my spine to crumble. Did any of you just, plan for whatever,
Nope.
things might be happening?
I made plans, but I did not account for outrageous inflation and the complications and new laws and rules that came with my plans in the past.
Yep. Yep.
So it changed the game to where you're living at 20% of poverty level when you had planned on being able to live comfortably.
Right.
I had plans as a contractor to not rely on Social Security. I planned on owning 5 to 10 rental homes, and my body started giving up on me in my my early 30s, and it just ruined my plans. So I had to do the fallback, with disability, and what they give you is pittance. I mean, if you still own a home, it doesn't even cover all your bills.
No. When I was going to go, so my plan really was we were going to go out in our RV and we were just going to go live forever in our RV. My first trip out. Now, I learned some lessons about that, and there's some other things that I have to deal with, like thinking about for me, I'm someone who will need medical in whatever place I'm going to spend a lot of time. And so that has to do with insurance and all of those kind of things. But as far as aging, my brain and my mind are exactly the same thing they were 20 years old, like Patty said. And I think the same goes when I hear everybody else speaking. You do not speak like you're 70 years old or 60. What does that even mean anymore?
I still think I'm 26 in my head, and my body says I'm 70, but I'm 53 going on 54.
Richard, what he started doing and he has been in extreme pain. He needs 2 back surgeries. He can't get because he will not quit nicotine. Bottom line, and there's pretty serious back surgeries. But he is set for the better part of 3 years, and that is just not his personality. Well, he started taking Czar, the German Shepherd, for walks every day, and he's walking 2 to 6 miles a day.
Oh, that's
Just to make sure Czar gets a walk, or
Wow.
like 6 a day. And
Well,
he's also losing weight.
I started, because what I didn't count for in my 20s, basically when I was having my son, is I should have really paid more attention to my uncle, how he grew his vegetables. Because, because I didn't, I've been trying to figure out how to grow tomatoes and squash for the last 3 years. And I grew the squash, but tomatoes didn't come up last year. And this year I had to either buy some clothes or grow the food. And so I had to buy the clothes. So.
Well, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then I have now sometime I got done buying the clothes, but it's pretty kind of late in the year right now to be growing, like tomatoes and squash. And so.
Well, you know what? Richard and I just went yesterday and spent $25 on a ton of vegetables that we're planting in our garden one way or another, by the way. The sale was $1 for every plant, and we went and we got a lot of plants. We're going to be working over the next few days. So what I hear most everybody saying is we just need to keep moving, doing some things. Everybody has said that, and that's the kind of the lesson I'm taking away. Keep moving at whatever level that you can.
Yeah, I know they had one of those things on like Facebook of how much of your life have you lived. My mom died when I was 60. She was 64. I was 24. So I did this thing, and it was like, you've lived, 86% of your life. So I took my age, divided it by 86, and it came up to 64. And I was like, oh my God. Like, no. Like death is stalking me. Like, where'd she go now? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's right around the corner. Just live your life in fear. So, I gotta do stuff. Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned fear. So fear is one of those things that can, like the day that my fall almost happened, I had my walker with me, and I wanted to go for a walk after Richard and I were done doing what we were doing. But I was fearful because that left foot just didn't pick up, and the carpet that it needed to go over was only like that, and it really needs to stay where it's at. And it's funny because it's like I was going to take a step, and in my mind I took the full step, So not allowing fear to override. We just have to do what we're able to do logically, and most all of you still have, abilities. We all have abilities. And and I have to say that Elaine, Travel Grandma, your point about, it sounds like it's saving your life to be out there, to be traveling.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think so.
And there's somebody else that I know I'm going to kick myself. Somebody else. Oh, Roy and Becky. So Roy and Becky love being out away from, their home is Indiana. And that's where Becky's at now for medical stuff, and she is having a lot of her, like sinus stuff. What is it called? She has asthma.
Allergies and asthma.
Really bad. And one of the reasons, her doctors told her to go to Arizona, to get out of Indiana and go to Arizona. So, there are situations where you're physically best off in certain climates.
Oh, absolutely. And eh, the physical part is my back and my legs.
Uh-huh.
But I have A to Z medical conditions as well. So I'm just pushing myself every day not to give up, because the fatigue, the exhaustion, the lack of focus, the lack of concentration, it does a lot to me. And
Mhm.
so
Amen.
I notice how slow I did, especially this past trip with Oregon. I noticed myself saying, "Whoa, what's happening? I'm slowing down." No, and I keep fighting it. And so when I don't dwell or focus on my issues, it's denial. But I
Huh?
feel that I do better denying everything. Like, oh, take care of yourself and you'll feel better. I try, but if I just ignore everything and just keep
Yeah.
pushing as if I wasn't sick at all, I kind of feel better. It doesn't make me sick. It'll make me exhausted,
Yeah.
where I'm collapsing, and you know what? I can't do this no more. I got to stop. But it's
Mhm.
me. It's my choice, right?
I do it the same
I guess
way.
I know how much I can take care of, how much I can deal with, and I just don't want to get sick because I'm so susceptible to infections. And having the sepsis January 2020, it really did knock me down. And
Oh, wow.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, oh God, all kinds of stuff has gone on. But no, I'm fighting it. That's all I have to say. Really, I should drop down.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
fighting.
Well,
we
I'm
push
here.
ourselves.
Go ahead,
I
Troy.
think for me, it's a matter of, motivation. When I'm out, I'm motivated to do things. I see people doing things, walking around. I'll be at the park, and it's just I see life around me, and that's what I need. I need life around me because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that at home right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So do you
And
think, go ahead, Troy. I want you to go ahead and share
well,
what you're saying.
what, I'm very similar to Renee. We push ourselves to the point of being crippled to have some
Mm-hmm.
sort of resemblance of the life we used to have to feel normal.
Right.
If we don't push ourselves, we'll be fine and a lot better off. But that's just a miserable way to live, in my opinion. That we want to get out and do things. We want to socialize. We want to
Mhm.
do a project or a craft and feel like we've achieved something. Even if we hurt ourselves doing it, it's almost worth it because it gives us some sort of resemblance of how life used to be for us, and we miss it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's
So we,
why uh, when I was thinking about the situation I had the other day, and I went and I made my way into the car. Um, it really mentally, it's in part of it's in our head. And for me, let me rephrase that. Part of this
it
is
is.
in my head. I have a physical disability that's extremely real, and I have tools to deal with that. But like Bernie, you do not know how hard it is for me to use my walker. But I fell in Quartzsite. I went the first day or the second day I was there, and it was no good reason. I was standing there in a circle, and somebody had come to chat with me, meet me, and I wanted to meet them, and everybody was in a circle, and I just had to walk like 25 feet. I walked to that circle, and I was standing there, and I was kind of like moving my foot back and forth on the gravel, and all of a sudden my foot went over, and I just went down.
Oh
And
yeah.
here I am in the midst of these people on the ground. And Richard had to go get out of the RV pillows because my knees, after the one thing I will say about knee replacements, at least happened to me, is I have these little nodules that are painful. And I think that simply needs to be broken up, but they're very painful. And Quartzsite, Arizona, for Patty, since you've never been there, and maybe Lynn, it's gravel. I love it. I have to say, I actually love Quartzsite, and I am an Oregon girl to the core, but I do appreciate something about Quartzsite. So Richard went and got me these little square pillows so I could put one under each of my knees, and I could get myself up because I was not letting, and a chair. I was not
Yeah.
letting anybody get me up. I
Oh
just
yeah.
no,
Oh yeah, courtside. The gravel was. I wanted to dance. I was being DJ there in 2022, and I couldn't dance. And even my video shows you I'm trying to dance here. I'm trying to do the moonwalk, and I couldn't because the gravel was so messed up. And
Yeah.
yes, you can easily fall and bang your head right there by the fire pit. Oh yeah, you got to be
Yeah.
careful.
And Lucretia, you took us
yes,
all
sir.
on a ride down to Arizona, doing all the lives you did. Your journey down there and back was more incredible than most any reality show I've ever
Oh, it
seen.
was awesome.
I
Awesome.
mean, Naked and Afraid, Stand Aside, what you took us through was an emotional roller coaster, and we were with you. So thank
I
you.
really,
Real Najra she's
That's
all.
kind of like back in the day. We used to live in Arkansas,
uh-huh.
and when I was little bitty, and back then there was a gravel highway from like where we lived to like Fort Smith, and because we lived like south of Fort Smith on a triple digit highway. I can't remember the highway number now. But the whole when you was on that highway, it was all gravel. There was no asphalt or nothing like that. But my cousin had went back there a few years ago, and they had paved the highway and made the city bigger because only thing was there was it was a hole in the road back then. And it was like it had like a post office on one side of the road over here, and on the next side, on the other side of the road over there, it would have it had a restaurant with a gas station with a restaurant attached to it. And that was it. So
Wow.
That's so best.
and I live on a gravel road right out here.
Mm-hmm. Got to be careful.
Very much so. My little sister. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to go because I have a
All right.
premiere video showing up right now. But it was
Oh,
great
yeah.
talking to you, ladies. Best
That's
of luck
great.
to you, and just keep going.
Does yours
Take
start
care.
at 5 o'clock? Elaine,
Yeah,
is yours at 5 o'clock?
What?
Is your premiere at 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will end at 5 o'clock, and I'll send my. And I'll
Pacific
send.
time.
It's right after this. 5 o'clock Pacific time, and I'll send. I'll have Kaylee drop the link for your premiere.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Elaine. You
All
are.
right, guys. See you down the road. Bye bye.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Take care.
You too.
Yeah. I've been watching this chatter here, and Little Tilly. Good
Lily
gravy,
Tittle.
girl.
Lily
Yeah.
Tittle.
So
Lily Tittle.
Yeah. So her sister, I'm just going to share this because she does do this twice a week on Tuesday and Saturday. She has a live stream like what we're doing right here, Patty. She has an open AA meeting on Tuesday and Saturday. I believe it's Tuesday and Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Anyways, and I go there and support them. They realize I'm an alcoholic, and I've shared that pretty openly here.
Lucretia, can you see the chat?
Yes, I can see the chat. Did I miss something?
Yes.
Keely was wanting Elaine's channel name.
Elaine is Travel Grandma. Oh, sorry, hon. Travel
Did you say
Grandma.
Travel Grandma. Okay.
Yes, Travel Grandma. And you'll see her face. I believe she has a red background similar to mine, and she's either 30 or 50,000 subscribers. So it's
Oh wow.
it shows there. She's
Wow.
a great lady. I'm having her back on again since my last interview.
Goofy dog.
Since my last interview.
Maybe.
Mute yourself. Who's that?
Oh my goodness, this dog's starting to irritate me now.
I'll just go ahead and mute.
Okay.
All right. So, anyways, the Elaine built from scratch a system that is similar to, you guys all know, most of you who travel, anyways, those who travel, who know about cheap RV living and how you can go connect with other people there and whatnot who are traveling.
Right.
Okay, so it's the same principle. She has built a really nice community, and I've been meaning to get her on to talk about that, but I kind of wanted to see how it played out. I can't think of the name of the community, but if you go to Travel Grandma, she will definitely be there. And I will invite her on for an interview specifically about that. Because, that's just an amazing, an amazing opportunity for people. And you don't
cool.
have to.
Far
You don't
out.
Thank you, Kaylee. You did find it. So I'm going to pop back up here to my little sister, Priscilla. She shared about her husband who, well, at first, so she shared about her husband who all of one Friday, he had been sick and he's worked they've been married a little longer than Richard and I think they've been married 40 years. We've been married 38. I think that's how it is. I always have to figure out how many years I've been married by calling Priscilla and saying, Priscilla, how many years have you been married? Because we're 2 years behind him. So Kelly has worked their whole life. And then one day, he can't get well. And he goes to the doctor and his regular doctor's gone. Thank God. And I mean, thank you, God, because he would have died that weekend. The doctor had him go do a walking test around the office park area, came back, they did a test on him, and he went home, and they called him a few hours later and said, you are in heart failure. You have to, he goes, I don't mean to scare you, but you have to go to the emergency room right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, it was horrible. Kelly, her husband, is used to not just working, but he went out and did not rock collecting, but what are those little artifacts you're not supposed to pick up off the ground? I mean, he didn't do that, but he did go out looking for them. I can't think, they're Indian. Somebody will be able to tell me.
Arrowheads?
Arrowheads. And anyways, it definitely is whole life, very outdoors, did everything.
Right.
And he had to have his chest cracked, open heart surgery. He had to have so much work done. And now life is a whole different animal.
Right.
I mean, an animal. Because I've told them, he's on disability now, SSDI. I'm on SSI, he's on SSDI. But, and she thought, like she says right here, we thought we were doing things right, then blindsided by his heart failure. And then, so unfortunately, when there's medical conditions that are part of your aging process, and he wasn't even old. We aren't old. Even none of us. None. 60, 61. Elaine at 71. Gonna, leave her husband behind and stay traveling on the road because she feels alive. If you saw her first couple videos tonight, the change in her demeanor, and it's nothing about her husband at all. Her and her husband, they love each other, but she has said, we've been married 50 years and we understand each other and we give each other the space we need to live in. So what time is it? 5:01. So let's see if Kaylee got the link to that. Kaylee, did you get the link?
Well, thank you, Lucretia. Thank you, everybody in the panel. This was great, and I'm sorry I was so late. I was not home at all. No internet, no signal, no nothing. So I'm glad I came up.
I'm so glad you came up. I love you. I don't,
Oh, I love you, Lucretia Gold. I'm going to the South 5, and I'm going to hit LA, and then I'm going to make a left. Like, no, you're not going to LA. I remember that, and I had to get your phone number and call you. No.
I know it.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
It was a fun time. That I'm telling you, that's what I thought. I thought I'm going to LA. I'm making a left-hand turn, and I'm going to
Yep,
Fort
I
Second there.
remember. I
Patty,
remember as if it was yesterday. No.
I didn't even have a map with me because I know how to get to LA. You just go freaking south on the freeway, and then you get to LA somewhere, and then there's a sign that says "Go east towards Arizona," and I was going to find it from there. So
Yeah, there should be signs.
Well,
And
no,
by the way-
that would have been fine. Oh yeah, that would have been easy and fine. But going through LA would have been more stressful than the whole trip itself. Ah.
exactly. So, anyways, I need to clarify. They were not arrowhead hunting; they were rock hounding.
There you go.
Oh.
Yes, yes. All right. So I do want to go to Elaine's hers, and I don't want to miss the whole thing. So where did that go? And thank you. Oh gosh, thank you guys for coming.
Hey,
Thanks for
Daryl.
inviting me. This was so much fun.
Hey, Sue.
I'm glad you all came. Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, everybody.
Love you, Troy and Christian. Mwah.
Bye. Bye,
Yes, you
Priscilla.
too.
All right. See you guys later. I'm gonna drop you
Okay.
down and say goodbye. All right. Love
Okay,
you guys.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So let's head over to Elaine's. I'm trying to find it back up here because I know that. Oh, here it is. Kaylee found it. Please go over and let them know that it is a Life of Lucretia raid. All right. Thank you guys for coming, and I will see you again real soon. Thank you, Kaylee, so much.